for attending. I want to welcome each one of you to our planning committee meeting of 20th August 2028, and it's being live streamed. Thank you. Apologies and leave of absence. We have apologies from the Lord Mayor, Anna Reynolds, Deputy Lord Mayor, Dr. Zelinda Sherlock, and Councillor Gemma Kitsos. Acknowledgement of country, item number 1. I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet. The Palawa people of Tasmania, I pay my respects to their elders past and present. I acknowledge that this land was never ceded and recognize that it was, is, and always will be Aboriginal land. I also acknowledge the historical truths that have shaped the experiences of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples in Tasmania, including the impacts of colonization, dispossession, and trauma which they faced. I commit to ongoing truth-telling and learning, recognizing the importance of acknowledging and respecting the true history of this land. It is important for us to recognize the rich cultural heritage and history of the Palawa people and celebrate the resilience and strength of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. By acknowledging the past and working towards a more truthful and inclusive future, we can build stronger relationships and a more just society for us all. Item number 2, confirmation of minutes. Someone move the minutes of 6/8. Moved. All in favor? Aye. Those against? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Item number 3, consideration of supplementary items, there being none. Number 4, indications of conflict of interest. Are there any? No, thank you. Item number 5, transfer of agenda items. No transfer of agenda items. Item number 6, planning authority items considered with deputation. We have one, item 7.1.1 that will be considered to deal with as we come to 7.1.1. Committee number 7, committee acting as a planning authority under Rule 29 of the local government meeting procedures. We are now acting as a planning authority. 7.1.1, we have 73 Peary Street. People have different ways of pronouncing it in Newtown. And we have with us a deputation, the applicant, and Graham Hills is here on behalf of the applicant. Thank you, Graham. You come up the front and please use the mic. You have 5 minutes, and at 4 minutes 30 seconds we will ring the bell, and that will be an indication that you have 30 seconds left.
Thank you.
And when you finish, we will have questions from the elected members.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've been involved with the developers for some 15 years with developments in various suburbs. They have always maintained a high quality of development, and this one I see as nothing different. 43A Pyrie Street is distinguished from 43, which is Flint House, which the current owners have purchased in 2024 by way of a mortgagee in possession sale. So the 43A Pyrie Street is a completely separate title from the Flint House operations. The proposed development is intended to suit a hire and tenant who they want for business or study, and it could be professional, corporates or the like, hospital staff, university students. It could also attract services such as government, contract workers or locum workers. We see this as a significant step to providing a suitable upgraded accommodation within the area, and we support any pressure that Council may want to apply on the owners of Flint House to make the accommodation fit for the residents that reside there. Taxpayers are effectively subsidising the rent that is paid on that property, and there is no accountability on the owner. Landlord to make sure of the accommodation that occupants are being provided meets the minimum standards for rental properties at this point in time. So we see that the proposal responds to the current demand for affordable rental housing, and if approved, we intend to have the building constructed within the next 12 months, subject to building approvals, etc. And the self-contained studio apartments will be available for medium to long-term rental. As you've seen from the renders provided, there is a significant upgrade in the look of the area. We're providing somewhat what I believe is a substantial design which complements what the needs are for. We're fortunate that the existing building is cut into the site on the eastern end, which sort of disappears the lower level, and therefore with the second storey doesn't really sort of override the privacy issues and the like. We have designed the upper level to set back to meet the building envelope throughout Pyrie Street and certainly Roop Street on the other side. We understand that we are quite close to Flint House, but the existing building line is also quite close, and we have made the point to offset the upper level so it does provide some sort of a buffer between the lower level and the upper level tenancies. It is the intention of the developer. They have an agreement with the Flint House owners to provide an adequate fence and high growth yield planting along that side, which has been substantially looked at. It will be a fully secured site with an easement access still accessible for the residents at this point in time for Flint House, which I don't see that's going to change. We will have private garbage collection regularly, so that will be not an issue for residents, and that will be certainly looked after. There will be a small laundromat on site to allow the tenants to occupy their own cleaning facilities and the like, and we see this as a key advantage by also providing a kitchen facility in each one of the units, so that it is basically self-contained rather than a hotel development where you've got perhaps a locum coming in that want to stay for a longer period of time under a contract arrangement. We see this as a key advantage. We have developed the 3D images with probably three major external colours and renders so that we can differentiate. They will all be in natural tones. The renders show a grey block on the lower level, which will be bagged and lightly painted over the top of that. So we're going to enhance the whole building facility, and one would hope that it's going to provide a very adequate accommodation in a much needed area.
You have another 30 seconds if you want to say anything else.
Look, that's fine. I think it's ideal for the area. We certainly need this type of accommodation where it does provide for that kitchen facility, and it is virtually, short-term or long-term self-contained, and we see that's a key advantage for anybody.
Thank you very much for your deputation. Councillor Harvey.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. A couple of questions. Firstly, we'll start with the waste management on site. I read the skip will be picked up.
Yes.
So there'll be all the waste will be commingled, will it?
It will be, yes. No, well, not won't be. There'll be a reticulation for rubbish removal for common rubbish, and a separate bin for, or a separate allocated area in the bin for the recyclable items, and that's most important.
Mm-hmm. And a green waste collection. Have you considered a green waste collection?
We'll talk to what the availability is as far as the contractors, but I'm sure that there would be some facility available there, and if certainly a condition is applied on that basis, then yeah, absolutely.
It's just that, through you, Chair, it's just that you've mentioned about having a higher end clientele, and that for me indicates that you might have a clientele that are prepared to sort their green waste and place it in the appropriate receptacle without too much contamination. So yes. I think that's something to consider. And you said you'd be happy to look at that as a condition. I don't know if we need to condition it through you, Chairman, but anyway, we'll discuss it later.
Yes.
And second point is the car park against the neighbour's fence. So I think there's advice in there, or I'm not sure if it's a condition or advice, that some sort of soundproofing fence could be put along the side boundary.
Yes, no doubt. We could accommodate that, and certainly there is the scope there in that setback to the fence line to provide some sort of, acoustic, not only acoustic fencing, but some nice greenery that provides
Is that what you were
buffer as
referring
well.
to before? Or was that the boundary with Flint House you were referring to?
No, the other boundary to the north behind the car park zone. Yes, there is a buffer there where we're taking services out, and so there is an offset to allow us to be able to, and you're right, anything that we can do to compromise and, approve on that facility for neighbouring attenuation is well accepted.
Yeah, that'd be great if there was some sort of noise attenuation with the neighbours. And the waste thing can be considered as well, but I'll ask the director at the
Yep.
appropriate time.
Any other questions? No? All right, so someone would like to move? Councillor,
I'm happy to move the item and I'll...
with that condition, so let me just
well, I
check.
don't know if it needs to be a condition, but I will defer to the acting director.
Through you, Chair. There is already a proposed condition about a residential accommodation management plan, which I think is the one you're referring to. I would be happy to beef that condition up to encourage the use of a green bin. I guess we are mindful of not forcing people into a situation and then that leads to potential contamination, but certainly could phrase that in terms of encouraging the use of a green bin. In terms of the acoustic...
In line with our waste
Correct.
management
Yes.
strategy. Yeah.
Comfortable for that to go in as a condition. In terms of the acoustic fencing, that has less basis in the planning scheme. We could include that as advice on the basis that the applicant would be happy to include it along with the vegetation as well.
Happy for both of those, thank you.
Okay. Councillor Lohberger.
Thank you, Chair. I just had a question through you to the director along the same lines as Councillor Harvey. Just regarding the green bins, there'll be a number of units here. The green bin's quite large. I mean, are we able to come to some sort of arrangement where we just put one bin there for all of them? I feel like they'll be struggling to fill a bin each. And there's a fee for each bin, is there not?
Through you, Chair. So my understanding is that the waste there'll be a private collector, private waste arrangement.
So it's all going in a skip.
So really it's a matter of the applicant making those private arrangements. As I understand it, we do have a limit in terms of the ability to provide green to this type of multiple dwelling arrangement.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any other? Councillor Passant.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Just looking through the building designs, is there any conditions around landscaping the street edge or any landscaping at all?
Through you, Chair. No, there aren't at the moment, and I think I'll just confer with my colleague. Is there any basis in the planning scheme to do that? Through you, Chair, can I just clarify, Councillor Passant, what your objective was with the landscaping?
Just that I can see that there's an existing large tree on the site, which I think is all close to the site. I think it's not actually on your title by the look of it, but there's some lawns proposed, but whether or not that street edge on Prairie Street is got any conditions, as we've seen before, for landscaping the street edge appropriately.
Through you, Chair, I'd be comfortable including that as advice. I mean, the planning scheme doesn't specifically identify that, although we are called up to look at the building form. So to the extent that it addresses that issue, I think it can go into the permit as advice.
Yeah, thanks. I'd like the advice clause if possible.
Any follow-up? Any other?
No, but I'm happy to make some comments if that's okay, Chair.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, thank you. Look, this is a good development. It's the sort of development, 21 studio apartments that we don't have very much of in Hobart. We don't have any kind of, other than social housing. And so this is perfect for filling the void for essential workers, for people on lower incomes that can't afford a freestanding house or a larger apartment. So I commend the applicants for bringing this. It's 21 more homes for Hobart, so thank you and thanks to the developers. I did have one other question, Chair, which just was referencing the remarks made at the opening statement of our representative here today. Is it possible for council to inspect Flint House on building regs? Is that our purview as a council?
Through you, Chair, if we are aware of potential breach, I think that we could do an inspection.
I think, Director, through you, Chair, that the comments brought to light by the gentleman with us this evening, and also my own knowledge and experience of that site, which is not insubstantial. It's very well known to emergency services and healthcare workers, that it would be very sensible for council to go and inspect that site and see if there are particularly fire regulations that are not being adhered to.
Through you, Chair, I will make arrangements for that to take place.
Thank you, Director.
Any other discussions before I, Councillor Lohberger?
Oh, look, I'll be quick, Chair. Echo my colleague here in just welcoming this. There was a bit of worry for myself personally and in the community, I think, when the walls went up around these units, but they were going to be lost, but in fact they're going to be increased in number. So it's a pretty good result, I think. It's a very good result. I do worry about the loss of low-income housing, but that's not a matter for this committee. So yes, look, I do welcome it. I would echo Councillor Posselt's comments about a bit of screening on the street as well. That would be good. There's been a fair bit of concern in the suburb recently about another development that's right up to the roadside, and people aren't particularly happy about it. But I think most people will be very happy about this. I think the fact there are only 2 representations, and they were quite mild and very specific against it, shows that the community is very happy with this as well, same as I am and same as my colleagues appear to be around the table. So I welcome the development and I will be voting for it.
Thank you. Any other discussion? No, so I will put that recommendation with the understanding that there is going to be a condition as far as encouraging the use of green bins. There's going to be an advice on the acoustic fencing, and I understand there's going to be an advice added on landscaping. With those added in, all in favour?
Aye.
All against? Carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Hill, for your deputation, and all the very best.
Councillors.
Right, we move on to 7.2.1, 10 to 14 Davis Streets, partial demolition and alterations. Now, are there any questions? Councillor Posselt.
Thank you. We had previously, this tenancy has come to council before, I think for an extension of their lease arrangements for construction of a glass covered drinking area or hospitality area. Do we know if that progressed at all? Has that come to the planning department? Like, this would have been, I don't know, Councillor Harvey, do you recall that? That lease extension would have been
I can't remember.
2 years ago, maybe?
There was a whole lot. There's been a lot of stuff through your chair going on over the years because of other potential plans for the area and lease extensions and with caveats on it and all sorts of stuff. But I don't know what the current status is of anything yet.
Thanks, Councillor Harvey. Director, can you recall, or perhaps if you can't, anyone else in the room? The other reason I bring it up is that it's our land, it's our building, I believe, and the tenancy was only allowed, I think it was a 5-year extension or maybe a 5+5, and it was only brought to us on the condition that they were going to invest in outdoor seating, and that hasn't happened to date, as far as I'm aware.
Through you, Chair, I'm sorry I'm not able to assist you with that. I don't have a recollection of it. I mean, I can certainly look into it after this evening, but it doesn't help you.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other question? Councillor Harvey?
Has this been moved?
No, not yet.
I'm happy to move the recommendation.
Okay,
for
moved. The
approval.
recommendation has been moved.
It looks like some of the internal changes will take out some of the less sympathetic aspects of the interior. And it looks like there's going to be an alfresco outdoor dining area, which I don't think is a problem. So I don't have any issues with this. There's been no representations, and it's only here because it's council property, as I understand. Yep.
Any other discussion? No? Okay, I'll put that as moved as per the recommendation. All in favour?
Aye.
Those against? Carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Item number 8, report 8.1, delegated decision report. Someone moved that be received and noted. Councillor Harvey, thank you.
Thank you. So moved.
Any questions?
No.
Any other councillor, alderman, have any questions? No, I put that. All in favour?
Aye.
Those against? Carried unanimously. 8.2,
Moved.
planning moved by Councillor Harvey, received and noted. Any questions?
No.
No, just a comment that there's just another 3 changes of use to visitor accommodation, which we just see every planning committee. We see more of them come through, and I'll have a question for the director for questions on notice.
Any other? No, I put that. All in favour?
Aye.
Those against? Carried unanimously. Thank you so much. 9, responses to questions without notice. Someone moved that we received. Councillor Lohberger, thank you. All in favour?
Monopoly tonight, then.
Those against? Carried unanimously. Questions without notice. Now, I have a question with regards to the local provision schedule. So that's now come through, and it's going to be effective from the 25th, is it? Is there?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, that is correct. We received notice on Monday that our new planning scheme would come into effect on Monday, the 25th of August. We are in the process of updating our maps, updating our website, updating a briefing for the elected members, which will be provided via the elected member bulletin.
Thank you. And just a follow-up question with regards to the local provision schedule and our submission from memory about the short stay accommodation. What has happened to that? Where is it?
Thank you, Chair. So we received a decision through that process, through the assessment of our local provision schedule, and the effect of that decision was that we couldn't assess, or we couldn't have that issue determined as part of that process. We had to wait for the planning scheme to come into effect, and then we had to apply to amend the planning scheme once it was in
Right.
effect.
So is it my understanding correct then, on the 25th it becomes effective, and then after that date, we can then apply? Thank you very much. Okay, any other questions? Councillor Passat.
Thank you, Chair. Today, just a tiny preamble, there was an article about Airbnb in the paper which you may have read. I was wondering if there is any prospect of revisiting, given the increasing numbers of homelessness and the increasing length of the Home Stats waiting list. Is there any prospect of revisiting prohibiting Airbnb in the Hobart municipality, or even in anywhere outside of the CBD, within the suburbs? Is this something that we can continue to look at, or if we ticked all the boxes and nothing further?
Through you, Chair, as the Chair has just asked, we already have been instructed or required by the elected members to prepare an application to the new planning scheme. We will apply to amend that to prohibit whole house conversion to visitor accommodation in residential zones. So the current proposition is that we'd still continue to support visitor accommodation in more commercial areas.
Any other questions? No. Someone move that the meeting be closed to the public as we go to the close. Thank you very much. Move. Those all in favour? Unanimously. Thank